Vanakkam, Namaste, and blessings to everyone. This is Dr. Bairavee Balasubramanian, PhD, the Sky Priestess. So, today we are going to be looking at the post-eclipse check-in. I know that the eclipse video just came out yesterday. Some of you are probably still digesting it and processing it, as with the energy of the eclipse itself. But I don't know. I just felt guided to do a Hello Neighbor special right now. And for the life of me, I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know why. So I'm just going to trust that my instincts are on point and see if something comes up in the collective conversation, not really having an agenda to share here today. For those of you who want information on the eclipse, look at yesterday's video. This is more about a Hello Neighbor post-eclipse special. So let's see who is online. We have All Things Love One. Hello. Hello to you. Hello, Jennifer Hyder. Hello, Brooklyn Butterfly. Hello, everyone else. Here we go. I've been feeling confused. I pulled tarot and I kept getting the moon card. I hear what you say. Hello, 305 Capricorn. Hello, Karina. Hello, Sheena. Hello, everybody else. Okay. Now, maybe it might be a good time for us to look at tarot, which is something that I do use, or rather I do integrate into my work quite a bit. And that I felt that maybe doing a little bit of live tarot may be a way for me to access whatever it is I'm being called to share today that I can't quite put my finger on. But first, let's have a quick look and see how everyone else is. Hello, JP Styles. Hello, Karina. Well, no, Karina sends hearts, so double hello to you. Hello, Barbara Gazelle. Hello, Vero. So is there anything that's on anybody's mind, or shall I maybe just do a live tarot pool and see what comes up? Oh, hello, Star. Star is a friend of mine who is an indigenous artist. Hello, VB. Yeah, let's get to that. Let's see what the cards come up with. Okay. Oh, here we go. Wait. We do have questions. All right. So Brooklyn Butterfly asks, great day to everyone. Am I the only one feeling scattered, trying to find my center? Probably not. It's been a very hard eclipse for a lot of people. I mean, I basically live like a monk most of the time. So this has to be my daily practice. So I'm not going to go, yes, I managed it. I'm just going to be like, well, it was basically just more work. More deep processing, and just doing the best I can. Though I did ask my brother to go and buy an ice cream cake for us because I felt we needed something sweet during this eclipse. So we got ourselves some ice cream cake and something for the girls, and just a little bit of nurture and self-love there, just because it's not something you do on a daily experience. But yeah, there's probably a lot of people feeling scattered right now, and that's totally understandable and totally normal for this time. Hello, Ashley. All Things Love One says she was going to ask if I use tarot. Yes, I do. Tai Rumi says, hey, I think I failed at this eclipse. I lack self-discipline. Okay, first of all, the fact that you think you failed, the fact that you think that you're even evaluating yourself tells me that you're already a step beyond not caring at all. And as long as you can observe yourself and do the best you can, and the next time we have something like this happen, just keep doing the best you can. That's as much that anyone can do. As long as you're honest with yourself, you're open to improving yourself or accepting yourself, or whichever the two it is, or both. It takes time sometimes, and frankly speaking, unless you've been on this path for a very, very, very long time, the kinds of intense energetic alignments that people have been experiencing in the past few years is a lot to handle, especially eclipses at 0 degrees Cancer. So don't beat yourself up about it. Digu3 sends hearts. Sacred Ascension says greetings from Tulum. Hello, hello, hello. Happy new moon, summer solstice, solar eclipse. Thank you. Sheena says physically sick a lot, but headache since last night. It's odd manifestation of energy. This is true. This is a kind of energy that can actually bring up a lot of physical symptoms. There is actually a field known as medical astrology, and off the top of my head, the energy of Cancer is very much associated with areas that are typically connected to feminine concerns. It also has a lot to do with the health of the belly. It has a lot to do with adipose tissue. Basically, the parts of you that really need to be protected. So I would not be surprised if any one of those things came up. VB says feeling drained, also understandable. Uncertain and scared, understandable. JP woke up feeling scared and crazy, understandable. Restless and fatigue, also understandable. Daphne is making strawberry French toast. That sounds nice. That really does sound nice. We do have a shop here that sells French toast, but it is super expensive. And although I might end up making some soon, we'll see. Will be cheaper. All things loved one says Brooklyn, I totally get it. I've been feeling super confused, even though I've been guided to my actual path. Jackie Dunlap, okay. High Sky Priestess, major changes going on at me. Relationship of 25 years breaking up. 15-year-old granddaughter trying to move out of my son's house to her mother's. Extreme change. That sounds like it. Remember to take care of yourself. Ashley says, hi. Zen Water Mom, Batwoman from Bridgeton. There's a story about this. Zen Water Mom was a client of mine, and since she's mentioned it here, she's someone who lives in the town that was the inspiration for Gotham in Batman. And basically, she does the job that Batman does, short of beating up actual people. So that's pretty good. Feels wonderful. Now the energies have subsided. Using this time for crystal work and grid creation to support what comes next. Oh, Ashley says, I'm so hungry. It's only a 3 fast. Wow. Disrag says, hi, doctor. Hello back. All Things Loved One says, Jackie, my heart goes out to you. Daphne says, I keep getting sharp pain on and off on the side of my head. Now, that can be a symptom of just over processing. I get that too a lot, especially when I've just focused too hard, which just happens. Sometimes you just do too much and you get those kinds of symptoms. So that might not necessarily be a bad thing. Let's see. Okay, Karina. Deep wounds coming up, feeling a separation, tension with partnership, disagreement about how to respond to coronavirus. I think coronavirus is going to be the least of our problems if you look at the year as a whole. But, it's understandable with the solar eclipse square at the supergalactic center. It's going to bring up some relationship issues and questions about boundaries. Disrag asks, what do you think number one is going to happen? I can't predict that. There are just too many different possibilities here. But as a whole, I think people are going to need to really look at what they consider as home, family, what is their foundational relationship to the earth. But you can look at that in yesterday's video where I talk about the eclipse. This is more of just a post-eclipse, chill out, hang out. Okay, someone is hangry. All right. Okay, VB confirms that recruit something about his job. Okay, fingers crossed, VB, that you get the job. Holly Go lightly says, feeling a strong need to move with my daughter. Ooh, okay, that's not nice. Some family drama, that's not easy at all. Just remember, guys, there's guys, girls, people of different genders. Just remember that a lot of the actual changes, like concrete changes, are going to be happening in the later part of the year. And remember that Saturn is due to move backwards into Capricorn around about the 1st of July, Universal Time. So we're going to have to face all of the stuff that we haven't faced. So it's completely understandable what you're feeling right now. But yes, let's move to tarot for a bit. I want to see why I decided to do this particular Hello Neighbor, because I was wrestling with this for a couple of hours. I'm like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Finally, I just decided to do it. So let's see what comes up. That little squeak is my brother's cat contributing. Okay, so let's see what's coming up with this. So let's see what we got for Hello Neighbor 11. Any guidance right now? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is what I get. I just did a very simple 3-card read. So let's look at, and I use tarot.com because I actually find I work better with a virtual deck. It's easier to clear than physical deck. But so, okay, so the Six of Wands, self, your enthusiastic stewardship is producing dramatic results. The Six of Wands in this position provides an opportunity for you to be on the receiving end of strong support. An opinion you had been keeping to yourself spoke to a universal need. As you share your views, others can unite with you, volunteer, and help to provide a framework for your team. Your inspiration, enthusiasm, and leadership are bearing fruit. It is imperative, however, that you design a plan of action. Don't allow a team effort to plunge ahead without direction. Okay, I can see how this relates to me. Maybe you can see how it relates to you. But the Six of Wands is also known as the victory card, though I don't think I'm quite that smug as to think that I am utterly victorious through all of this. I did have, well, hopefully in the end, but I did have a pretty significant breakthrough in understanding different aspects of Cancerian energy in my life. So maybe that's what it refers to, but maybe it also speaks to you. The second card that came up, support a renewed sense of adventure that moves towards a vision, even in the face of more realistic viewpoints about the probable outcome. When the Knight of Wands in some decks of Prince is in this position, someone in your environment may be venturing into their dream. The situation may feel both poignant and bittersweet to you. You realize how joyful and important an occasion it is. Still, you see how likely it is that the shiny new armor will soon be dented, the husky horse will become tired, and the enthusiasm of new adventures tempered by a few difficult trials. Virginal innocence has not yet met an adversary, and that's a beautiful thing. It deserves to be celebrated and supported, no matter how more seasoned eyes envision the eventual outcome. So the first card we see had Wands. The second card we see Knight of Wands. And so this is all about some kind of journey, some kind of moving aheadness. And maybe I'm a bit too cautious for my own good about committing to new paths, about committing to new things at this time. My brother is smiling because he knows that I'm a dork and I do silly things. But when it comes to stuff like this, you want to say hi? Right, he says it's okay. It comes to stuff like this, I do think, and I think a lot about it. I've been thinking a lot about writing in terms of academia, and I've been thinking a lot about, how I can synthesize different things together on my part because life has taken me on a certain journey, and it's all about just learning how to put the pieces together, right? So maybe for me, it might be actually getting around to writing what I need to write. Maybe. The third card is the Eight of Wands, challenges, opportunities. Hard work produces what might appear to others as an effortless result. Ha! But the price of ongoing success is continued exertion. The Eight of Wands in this position is testing how well you anticipated the tremendous results you are getting from your efforts. When you put yourself in harmony with natural forces, you are furthered by their energetically supportive response. This card, sometimes named the Garden, suggests a kind of long labor that bears at the end of the season what appears to be a natural cornucopia. The point is that your ambitious vision and devoted labors may give you even better results than you dared to dream. Now you have more decisions to make, more details to secure, more work to accomplish. Great! But that is the price of success. Okay, I think for me it's pretty clear what they're saying. Hopefully that's useful for you. Hopefully, but see what comes up. Let's look at the comments. Okay, Soma says letting go and feeling space with long lost parts of me coming back again. That's good. Maggie says good morning, lovely humans. Dr. B, good morning. Monroe sends a smile, well, an emoji. All things loved one gets the Six of Wands, Eight of Wands on the moon, so fairly similar. Star says that spoke volumes. Thank you. Most welcome. Maggie says it's very isolating being so smart and accomplished as a woman, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, especially when you do not fit in anywhere and you look at things like this. My clients sometimes get worried when I'm looking like this because they think I'm being judgy. But literally, it's just the face that I make when I'm looking at things, really, really looking at things. And I have to tell them, I'm like, no, 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 it's not me judging you. I'm literally just looking. But yes, it can be isolating. This rag says what someone or group thinking doesn't mean is going to happen. Not sure what that means. Need more clarity. Okay, Ashley sends an interesting curse to people with self-love and healing. Interesting. That's okay. SL Hubbard has just completed the Hum mantra. All right. Karina says time to roll up the sleeves and get busy. Get busy. Um, okay. Disrag says especially when nobody asking first and now still needs some clarity of context. Okay. Dusty Whistle started a new project that will go on till spring 2021. Reading was spot on. Great. Okay, Monroe says, please write. I'm thinking about it. I get really caught up in the politics of writing. Is like, okay, the moment you put anything to paper, it's kind of like it is a spell. You're claiming a particular position, you're claiming a kind of fixity around knowledge, and that's the thing that always gets me. The moment I start doing something interesting, it's like, do I have the right to write this? Should I be the person writing this? And I get all these questions, but like I said, maybe a bit too cautious about that. Cards say, screw it, do it anyway. But then again, I got Saturn conjunct the great attractor, so that's not that surprising. Monroy says self-publish. Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, let's see if there's anything else. But yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to share. In fact, maybe I can share with you what I'm thinking about writing. That might be an interesting thing because I know, obviously, as you know, I've been following the Black Lives Matter movement, and I've also just been looking at how the way people think about politics is changing. And for me, it's less about what a person knows and more about what do they actually do with their information. Is that information useful to people? Because I don't believe in writing a book on philosophy or spirituality. It would be very unlikely that I did write it unless spirit basically just said, no, you gotta do it. But me as me, I just find that these opinions don't actually help at the end of the day. One person's truth is not going to be the same as the others. So I usually try to find a situation or a problem or a particular focus and then try and develop a perspective around it. But then again, that's my approach. So what I've been looking at really is how, the way we think about identity, culture, politics, it's all changing, and it's because of technology. And I was actually quite amused when I was actually quite amused and when I was looking at the news today, because I do look at many different sources of information, and I noticed that apparently this rally that happened in Tulsa was, it was basically empty, and I was wondering why, and then I did more digging, and apparently K-pop fans and TikTok users, teenagers, have basically, played a huge prank and made sure that that rally was basically, in comparison to the number of tickets people had asked for, it was claimed that 1,000,000 people, had asked for tickets, whereas the number of people actually turned up is virtually nothing in comparison. So thousands of people, teenagers, grandmothers on TikTok, followers of K-pop, basically used what agency they had through social media and have actually done something politically significant. And that's the kind of thinking, out of the box forms of political action that, having been in the institution of political science and academia, I can tell you they're not doing enough research about. Because, these kinds of things are poo-pooed. These kinds of things are seen as, not legitimate or not serious and stuff like that. But that's how young people are engaging in politics. So that's the kind of thing that excites me. What I also find very exciting is looking at how art and community work and protest come together in ways that not only have a political significance, but interesting, not only a political significance, and also a significance that is metaphysical. Now it's interesting. Someone says that the stadium was full. The 1 million did request tickets. I don't believe in mainstream media, but I look at a lot of sources, and I also look at photographs. I do not think it was particularly full. But it's your opinion. versus photographs and video and footage. So I'm not going to argue with that. But what I find is really interesting is just how we understand politics and how it emerges and how it's changing over time. And honestly, that's the kind of things that look uh, what's the heck? Okay, I don't understand what's going on. Why am I getting all these weird comments? But anyway, this is the kind of thing that just, you know, this is the kind of thing that seems interesting. This is the kind of thing that seems like what I would do and what very much aligns with the suit of wands in the tarot. But basically, again, I'm not entirely sure why Spirit guided me to do this today, but I'm just going to go with faith and I'm just going to go and see if it aligns and there's something useful that comes of it. Like I said, didn't exactly have an agenda doing this particular one. And something about chunky garbage gifts? What the fuck is going on? I don't understand. I'm just going to put this down to Eclipse Madness. But yeah, hopefully this has provided some useful insight. But let's not get caught on people's assertions. Let's all just go and, find whatever parts of truth that work for each of us. And hopefully we are inspired to do useful things in the world. That's the most important things. But anyone else have any specific questions that I can address or anything that needs to come up right now? I just kind of, oh, okay. Someone says I should have mods. I'm being trolled. Have someone pacing and laughing out loud. What does that even mean? How does a person have mods on a live YouTube feed? I am not particularly good with this stuff. Oh, here we go. Full of light. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, like I said, everyone's entitled to their perspective. The only time a person gets banned off of my page is when they're being disrespectful or when they are using it to promote a particular agenda or when they're literally slandering people. Otherwise, whatever you want to believe, you can believe it, man. That's not something I'm going to judge you on. But let's see. When will the confusion dissipate? Now, this is a good question. And if you've got to go, feel free. This is not like I said, this is not a very focused or very, what's the word? It's not a super focused discussion, and it doesn't need to be because it's a Hello Neighbor hangout. Though this is certainly an interesting hangout. But yeah, when will the confusion dissipate? I gotta say, this is, okay. Maggie claims that she's the first conservative I've met on the path. I would not put yourself on the pedestal, though I've met a lot of conservatives on the path. But I would say it's quite important to remember that if your path is literally supporting someone whose son called Black Lives Matters protesters as animals, you may want to consider whether your definition of the path and mine actually overlap. Again, you got to do what's right for you, but I don't really want to give too much attention to what you're saying right now because that's not why I'm here. So let's see. Let's go to the question of when will the confusion dissipate. I am going to have to look into this moderator options. 3 or 5 Capricorn, I might just take you up on it. Like I said, totally okay with people believing what they want to believe, but if you want to preach something, do it on your own space, not here. That's not going to fly. Okay, so honestly speaking, I don't know if most of you remember, a couple of days ago, I was looking at this asteroid called Bairavee, which is very much an energy that deals with the false light and the way things are projecting truth or lies on whatever it is that we're looking at. This is the kind of energy that really we need to be very mindful of, and unfortunately it's not going to die down this year or the next year or the year after that. This information is going to be a very, very powerful theme, a very powerful energy that's just going to be accompanying the collective for the next few years. So the only thing we can do is arm ourselves, try not to fall into judgment. Like, you can disagree with someone, but you don't need to hate them. You don't need to love them. You don't need to hate them. You just need to go, okay, is that your perspective? Is that your evidence? Is that what you're thinking? Great. If you can have a conversation, have a conversation. If not, let's just move. Um, okay. Let's see. Maggie, I really think you're missing the point of this space, and I'm not wanting to center you. So you can be an American, but I'm a political scientist who literally studied in America and went and looked at political systems all over the world. So please, let's not use the as an American argument here. Really, and you're centering yourself. That's not what the space is about. But this is years to come. And S.L. Hubbard says, it is disheartening, but it's the truth, sweetie. If you wanted someone to tell you stuff that's not going to work, this is not the channel for it. You know this. We're going to be in this chat. We're going to be in this struggle for the next couple of years. It's not going to be as bad. After 2020 passes, once Saturn has left Capricorn, it's going to be an energy where, this is where we are going to have a little bit more ease in navigating through this, but we're rebuilding a new reality. To imagine that it's going to finish in 6 months that doesn't make sense. You have to go with what you know, and you have to be open to what you can learn. And as the thing is, when we actually see a little bit of, an understanding that this is a long-term process, this isn't something you just endure for a few months and it goes away, but it's really starting a different relationship with truth, which is also very much what the Wand suit is about. As we are developing a more refined relationship with truth, we are basically being asked to, think about everything, look at it, and really be discerning. It's not, see, these kinds of negative alignments is not, they're not bad things in and of themselves. They are bad things when we look at them as insurmountable obstacles. But the thing is, the moment you learn from a negative alignment, it has less power over you. So, that's what I would say. Aim to empower yourself in a way that all of this chaos and all of this discord is not disempowering you. And when that comes, even if there is a super negative alignment, it's not going to hit you as hard. And that's the thing about it. So when someone says this alignment is going to hit you for 20 years, it doesn't mean that 20 years is, I'm not saying 20 years, just an example. It doesn't mean that, for 20 years things are going to be horrible. It's going to say that this lesson is available to you for this long. And if you haven't learned it by year 19, that last year is going to be terrible so that you do. So that's kind of the way you can look at long-term alignments and predictions. It's like, when you buy something online and it says, this link is valid to be accessed until such and such year. That's more of the way you can think about an alignment. So don't feel disheartened. It just means that you got a couple of years to learn the lesson. You learn it sooner and the ride will be smoother for you. Hopefully that allays your fears. Let's look at, okay, 3 or 5 Capricorn asks, do you think there will still be a second wave of the virus? I believe so. I would be very surprised if there isn't. This, in terms of astrology, it'll take 1 to 2 years to fully clear. Jackie says she's finding a lot of secrecy and manipulation going on in a lot of areas in her life. This is true for everybody. I think that a lot of us have been turning away from truths that we didn't want to face, and sometimes truths we didn't even know we had to face. Sometimes it's not just people in denial. Sometimes it's literally just people who have no idea that there is this skeleton hiding in the closet because they didn't even know there was a closet in the first place. So Jackie, you're not alone in this. Okay, let's see anything else. Some spiritualists overemphasizing need to fight a dark takeover that has been architected by so on and so forth. Not into conspiracy theories, but feel disturbed by governments. Honestly, I absolutely agree with that, but I don't think anyone is going to succeed if you go into it with the vibration of a fight. Because even if you are fighting for something, I know it sounds a bit contradictory, but hear me out. Even if you're fighting for something, if you're going into it in the mentality of, I'm going to push this through, or I'm going to resist, or I'm going to rebel, you're already kind of limiting your options. Fighting something can be very quiet, Fighting something can be very understated and still very effective. Fighting something can be, it can be very creative, very artistic. It can be something that moves a person in a completely different way. So, yeah, I do think we need to fight whatever negative forces are coming in the world right now, but not in a purely adversarial attitude. That being said, if there is an actual threat, like someone is trying to rob you or hurt you, at that point, I'm not going to ask you to try and write a song. I'm going to say, punch them in the face, grab your stuff, and run. But again, that needs to be like this amount of the time, as opposed to the vast spectrum of different forms of putting forward a more positive vibration in the world. So I agree with the general idea. I just think that that attitude towards fighting the negativity that's coming needs to be discussed in a more refined way. Every one of us can do something. That's the most important thing. Every one of us can do something. Celine says, love and gratitude from Portland. My kitty loves the sound of your voice. Yay, give your kitty a hug from me. This rug says, why don't they do the right thing and own it? Again, my friend, gonna need some context. Let's see. Sky Priestess asked Brooklyn Butterfly, what should be the main focus for this current inner energy for the months to come? Honestly, focus on creativity, focus on developing your creative ideas and putting something positive into the world. By focusing your attention on being against something, you actually limit the possibilities of what you can come up with. Sometimes you've got to be for something, even if that is for greater joy, greater happiness, greater creativity, greater community. That's a good thing to focus your energy on. When we move too much into focus your energy against all of the time, all of your creative focus is going to go into one channel. So creativity would be key. Soma says you have new kittens, Sapphire, the female, and Chichi, the male. Oh, that's nice. Say hi to your kitties for me. Dusty still says, how can we best protect ourselves as we continue to do this transitory work? Confronting others and ourselves with how we uphold systemic violence opens up a lot. I agree. Whilst I can be vigilant towards myself in being committed to reflection and change, others have their own paths, and I've been burned before by the fragility of others' privileges. That's a great question. I would say that, to be honest, I'm not sure what's the exact context you're speaking about, but sometimes it's better to redirect some of those lessons and energy to people who are working on it. So, for example, if you are talking about, say, educating a white person on fragility and privilege, there are actual resources and organizations which can help them do that. So instead of you having to reinvent the wheel, I'm just using this as an example, but instead of you having to reinvent the wheel each time, just send them to a resource where this is already being done, and understand that unless their heads are actually open to what you're saying, you're wasting your energy by hitting yourself against a brick wall. Redirect, outsource, delegate, focus on what you can uniquely do, and allow people to find resources elsewhere for the things that you don't need to spend your time doing. That's what I would suggest. Monroe says, it's a little too big for one spiritualist or group. I agree. Star says, fighting something could be as simple as prioritizing one's health and wellness. Absolutely. Sometimes people just, limit themselves too much just by looking at themselves when they've already got it under control. But a lot of the time, I would say, especially for people who are working on collective causes, it's super important to come back to your health and wellness. Sometimes sticking in the fight can often mean sacrificing what you actually are and who you actually are. And at the end of the day, that doesn't help anybody. Brandon says, thank you. Reverb says, love the sound of your kitty meowing. That's my bro's kitty, sweet fellow. She's a very sweet little girl who sounds more like an owl than a cat, to be honest. All Things Loved One says, I'm going to book a reading with you ASAP. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. James says, people are crazy. It's not the end of the world. I agree. Soma says, I would love access to some of those resources to pass on to people. Honestly, at this point, you can Google it. There are tons of websites which list this in detail, resources for white allies, resources to send white allies to help them help other people. All you got to do is Google it because it's literally online. Anything else that I can help to clarify? Any other questions that come up? I don't know why Spirit asked me to do this, but you know, I'm just following this. Let's see. Nasty says, thank you. Always doing that outsourcing work when not coming from my own embodied experience. That is good. But yes, thanks for the reminder to stop and investing energy in those who cannot listen. That's something I took many years to learn. And frankly, I'm one of those people who will spend hours talking to someone if I feel like there is a conversation to have. But what I have also found is that with some people, it's just an energy drain. Even if you provide facts, figures, evidence, statistics, literal, literal live footage, they're still going to say something. I was actually watching it. It was quite funny. I was actually watching this little sketch done on the Daily Show, where they had this black comedian called, God, what is her name? I just found out about her today. Her name's Dulce, as my brother said, but I was looking for her second name. Dulce Sloan, I believe. Yes, Dulce or Dulce Sloan. I'm not sure how she says it. And they had this little sketch on, and of course this is they reshared this in response to what's going on in conversations in the United States right now. And they had this kind of a fake 911 sketch where she's a black responder. And, they get all these white people calling up saying, well, I see black people and they're laughing and they're loud and I feel scared. And she just listens to this and she just goes, girl, bye. I can't do that voice, but she just says, girl, bye. That's it. There's no conversation to be had there because nothing you can say is going to convince the other person that this is not a threat. That this is not something for you to be worried about. People just laughing, people on their phones is not a threat to your humanity and life. But there's no point explaining. So, girl, bye. That's it. Do not invest in energy in people who are not going to listen to you. Let's see. Wow. Monroe says that someone told him that he photoshopped himself in Africa doing his initiation ceremonies. Oh, Lord. I am sorry you are getting your share of the crazy, my friend. Monroe is also in the spiritual field himself, and this is it. There is a lot of crazy going around, and it's very important to not let the crazy take a hold on you. People who are in the public eye, whether they are politicians, whether they are artists, whether they are actors, whether they are spiritualists, whether they are life coaches, they get a lot of projection. And it's very important to just look at the projection that's coming your way and to say goodbye. Girl, bye. That should be a mantra, just bye. Because you don't need it. Like a lot of the time when someone cannot understand something in themselves, they try to project what they don't know onto someone that they want to, identify themselves with. So it's kind of like getting a benefit through association. So if you do something right, if you do something wrong, it's all about that person and their identity, and you don't need that. So remember to clear your field, my friend, of the vibes of whoever who told you that you photoshopped yourself doing your ceremonies. That's ridiculous. Rani asks, have you found that people's moon signs are more often related to health weaknesses than sun signs? I would actually agree with that, to be honest. I find that when working with the energy of the moon as opposed to the sun, I mean, maybe that's just my view on it, but I think that because the moon is so open to psychic and intuitive impressions and so on and so forth, it's just so flexible, it's just so malleable. I would actually say it does make a person more vulnerable. It's not to say that health issues in the sun signs don't happen. I just think that they tend to happen, at certain key moments, whereas a moon sign can indicate an ongoing relationship with a health issue. There we go. Soma says, many blessings from Ireland. Yay, Ireland. Bridget says, I'm spiritual, but I'm not strong enough to let energies move through me. I hope it doesn't make me a spiritual bypasser. Not really, Bridget. It's actually smart. Spirit put you here to be you. Why do you need to let some other energy move through you? Observe, engage as you. It's a gift as it is. Jesse says, do you think this eclipse could lead to the reversal of the gentrification of NYC? I hope so. I was walking around New York and I looked at it and I was just like, this is a shame. I really do hope that that reversal would happen because, frankly, that's just, making a city lose its culture. Oh, Denise, how do you help a mentally ill family member who just stopped taking his medication? Oh dear. First of all, you gotta look at their age. If they're above a certain age, it's going to be very hard for you to do anything. Just because there are legal issues that have to do with, the right to force a person to get treatment and so on and so forth. If someone is in danger of endangering themselves or others, you're going to have to take action because when it's a family member, it becomes very hard to walk away unless you're willing to walk away from that entire relationship. But if this is an adult who has some understanding of their situation and the importance of their situation, and they're still not willing to take their medication, uh, unless they're literally posing a danger, there's not very much that you can actually do. It depends on the case, but from what you're saying, it tells me this person may be in a manic state. So if they have a care provider, it might be better to go through a third party. Sometimes family is the last source that you want to actually receive help from. And truthfully, in cases like this, from what I've understood and experienced, it is literally better to have third party intervention because family can sometimes trigger those wounds that actually lead to these extreme manifestations of symptoms. But again, very sensitive topic. You really need to look at it with caution. But I would say that's probably as much energy as I have on this. Hopefully this helps. I just wanted to do a community check-in, see if everyone's okay. I did see a couple of weird spikes here and there on the chart, but that's fine. Everyone is going to have their own experience. Just remember, come back to yourself, do what you got to do, walk your path, and try to do so with compassion in a way that honors you and honors the people around you. Sometimes walking your path is sitting by yourself and working on yourself and your loved ones. Sometimes walking your path is standing out there with a protest sign. Sometimes walking your path is saying, I can't help with this. I can send energy from afar. Sometimes walking your path is writing to, your member of local government or sharing a link. It's all depends. You can't judge what you are going to do on the basis of what someone else is doing. Just remember, there is a line between self-care and self-indulgence. So as long as you are, on a path that centers your self-care without allowing you to make that into a comfortable bubble, that should be a fairly good rule of thumb. So that's about it. Take care. Very many blessings. Lots and lots and lots of love to everyone. And ciao, ciao for now. Bye-bye. Mm-hmm.